Colombia arrests former Medellín Cartel founder Carlos Lehder. I thought Carlos Lehder was still in jail. For those that don't know, Carlos Lehder, notorious 80s, 90s, Pablo Escobar, movie blow basically. He had his own island. A lot of freaky shit happened there. CIA, all of these things. Carlos Lehder, bro. Carlos Lehder, former rug trafficker and one of the founding leaders of the Medellín cartel, was arrested on Friday by Colombian authorities upon his arrival from Germany on a warrant in the Latin American country. Heavy parts of his roots are from Germany. Update. Hold on. Carlos Lehder was released from detention in Colombia. A judge determined that Colombian authorities convicted Lehder for rug trafficking in 1995 while he was serving the separate sentence at a U.S. prison. The cartel boss was sentenced to 24 years in prison in Colombia, meaning his sentence expired in 2019 according to Colombian law. Lehder had not returned to Colombia since his extradition to the United States in 1987. His lawyer, Sandra McCollins, said he was attempting to visit relatives when he arrived Friday. That's it. He's just coming home. Coming home to face his warrant. That's all he did. He served his time. Cumplió su condena. Right? This is a young Carlos Lehder in 87. Wild man. All right? Probably got 3 kilos in his system right now. Period. Lehder was sentenced to life plus 135 years in prison in 1988 after a Florida court convicted him of cocaine trafficking. His sentence was later reduced by 55 years after he testified against former Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega. He was released in 2020 due to health issues. He had been living in Germany since then, releasing an autobiographical book last year. His sentence was later reduced by 55 years. So he got 50. So he's a snitch too, huh? He got 55 years for testifying against Manuel Noriega. All right, boom, there he is. So he just went to clean up a warrant. That's it. That's all he's on. Lehder Rivas, who arrived in the country from Frankfurt, presented it in our information systems an arrest warrant in force. Colombia Migration Authorities said on X, adding that the former rug lord had been handed over to police. So this is a big story about nothing. This story is just the homecoming of Carlos Lehder back to Colombia. Came back to Colombia, hadn't been there since he was extradited. Had to get that warrants off of him. Now he's a free man and all of his transgressions are forgiven. Okay? Everybody's happy now. The United States government doesn't give a fuck about murder. Murder 1,000 people. If you can testify against Manuel Noriega, we don't care how many people you want alive. We'll talk about it. Let's get it. That's it. Assassinated in Ensenada, the brother of influencer Markitos Toys. For those that don't know who Markitos Toys is, he is somebody that he's a YouTube influencer who has been connected to the Chapitos, and it's not looking good for him. They on his ass, right? Or some of them views going to skyrocket. We'll see. Gail Castro, brother of the influencer Markitos Toys, was shot to termination while eating at the Villa Marina restaurant located in Ensenada, Baja California. The assassins broke into the property and directly attacked Gail Castro. He received about 5 shots. The name of Markitos Toys, you will remember, has been linked on several occasions with the Chapitos. In January 2025, his name appeared on flyers that were dropped from planes in Culiacán, Sinaloa, where he was accused of being a collaborator of the Chapitos. Days before, his parents' house was attacked with bullets and was set on fire. In addition to 2 branches of the ranch and Markitos restaurant chain were also set on fire. They on that boy ass. Markitos Toys is supposed to be back in Mexico. Can anyone confirm that? Shit. The Sinaloan influencer remained out of the country for 2 months after this series of attacks and threats. What would bring him back, huh? The worry that, hey man, you don't come back, we eating everybody. And he didn't come back in time, they started eating everybody. Brother of influencer Markitos Toys unalived in Ensenada restaurant. All right, nice place. He right there at the door, huh? Gail Castro Cardenas, brothers brother of influencer Markitos Toys, was unalived on the afternoon of Friday, March 28th, while eating at a restaurant in Ensenada, Baja California. According to initial police reports, the incident occurred at the Villa Marina restaurant located in the El Sausal district. Guess that's Buddy right there. What are those? Unofficial information obtained by InfoBay, Mexico, indicates that Gail Castro was shot more than 15 times in the stomach and chest. The perpetrators arrived in a maroon Toyota Corolla. The unit was located a few meters further on Colinas de Redondo Beach Street in the Colinas del Mar neighborhood in the same area of El Sausal. The first responders were members of the municipal police who around 6:10 p.m. were alerted by C5 that on the Tijuana Ensenada Highway, kilometer 104, there was a person injured by a firearm. Upon arriving at the scene, officers observed Castro Cardenas lying on the floor at the entrance of the restaurant, covered in life's fluids. So they requested the assistance of paramedics who confirmed the termination of the YouTuber. It's not looking good for Markitos Toys. Where does he go? What do y'all think he's going to do? He come to America? Huh? Is he on a watch list? Hit the like button if you have yet to do so. Does he come back to the state? Does he come to the States and offer information in exchange for protection? Huh? You think he's showing up to bury him? So they saying he's in Mexico, no? Why is he in Mexico? I don't know. Will he show up to bury him? I don't know, man. I'm telling you this much. If you in the game, like, you gotta skip all the funerals and all the pleasantries and shit when there's a war like that going on. You make your family a victim. Ceremony, let's get him to the crematorium or to the undertaker, wherever we going. Let's bring him back. Let's quietly do that shit in the living room, because you got problems right now. He's in Mexico now. Can he make it out in time? Is the question. Sadly, do we know? Well, we got to see if somebody can confirm he's in Mexico. But if he's in Mexico, you think he was gonna serve himself up so they wouldn't start taking out family members? If you're him, why do you go back to Mexico if you know you hot like that? It's the only other reason. I don't know, but it's happened before, I guess, so who knows. Let's get it. Los Chapitos promise revenge for Gail Castro's unaliving. Messages have surfaced containing threats from Alejandro Lopez Guzman, believed to be in retaliation for the unaliving of influencer Gail Castro, brother of Marco Eduardo Castro Cardenas, better known as Markitos Toys. Gail was unalived on March 28th at Hotel Villa Marina restaurant in Ensenada, Baja California. He was shot 15 times while leaving dinner. Markitos, who boasts 5.3 million Instagram followers and 4.2 million YouTube subscribers, frequently shared content showcasing his family's luxurious lifestyle. Members of the Castro family were named as targets by La Maíza in leaflets. Remember the snitch flyer that they were dropping, that everybody's dropping? You know what I'm saying? In leaflets dropped in January, the messages accused 25 influencers of working with Los Chapitos and included Markitos Toys, his brother Kevin and Kevin's wife Anna, his sister Mayve, and her husband Paul, and Gail Castro. Well, they weren't playing. They came and got him. Gail is one of several influencers linked to Los Chapitos who have been unalived in recent months, including with Miguel Vivanco, a.k.a. El Jasper, Justin Paul, El Pinky, and Leobaldo Aisporo Soto, Gordo Peruzzi. These unalivings echo past cartel violence against musicians. Markitos' parents' house was also attacked in January. Oh, man, you guys did great for your family. And restaurants allegedly linked to Markitos were set on fire. There now seems to be a response from Los Chapitos with at least 2 messages attributed to Alejandro López Guzmán being found in Ensenada stating, "Se metieron con la familia y rompieron un código. Tenemos ubicados a sus familias en..." Let me read it down here. "You got family involved and broke the code. We've located your relatives." There it is. En Querétaro and Puebla. You're going to lose a lot for your desperation. It's crazy. Local police found one message on the walls of CBTIS 41, a high school in Ensenada. According to El Mexicano Diario, police have notified the state prosecutor's office to investigate. The same message was also found on a bridge near El Cypress military garrison, according to HipTex. Se metieron con la familia y rompieron el código. Tenemos ubicados a sus familias en Querétaro y Puebla. Perderán mucho por la desesperación. There is not a clear photo of the one left at the bridge, but it is likely the one above. Borderland Beat has recently reported on Lopez Guzman's threats against the governor of Durango. ALG is clearly choosing to become more visible. As we have written, Alejandro is allegedly a high-ranking member of Los Chapitos and cousin to Ovidio Guzman Lopez. Analysis. Many observers are skeptical ALG exists. I personally lean toward him being authentic as he runs the Instagram account El Más Joven 1.0, and after following for a while, I can conclude the following. He has been active for years. He appears pretty consistent to be the same person in his posts and stories despite not showing his full face. Other writers in this space, such as Mika Trevino and Illicit Investigations, have written about ALG. Mika Trevino has no weight as far as I'm concerned. None. He's propaganda. He is always posting new content that can't be reverse image searched as far as I've tried. He is followed by other Sinaloans who make up the younger membership of Los Chapitos, and Los Chapitos would not allow someone to use their family's name and launch these kinds of threats if they were not authentic. All right? So they are vowing retaliation for Markitos Toys' brother. I don't know what good any of this is going to get y'all. All of y'all going to end up in the ground. It's just what it is. Playing crazy games. All right? So there we go. Los Chapitos promise revenge. Gran cosa. We've been talking about the Izaguirre Ranch and the other crematorium training camps that supposed CJ&J had all over Jalisco. IACHR calls the case of the Izaguirre Ranch in Tuchiclan alarming. It reflects the degradation of violence by organized crime to a level contrary to human dignity, warns the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. The Inter-American Commission on Human Rights described as alarming the existence of spaces for training and disappearance of people such as the Izaguirre Ranch in Tuchitlan, Jalisco, for a prolonged period of time without intervention by authorities. After recognizing the collective Guerreros Buscadores de Jalisco for locating human remains at the Izaguirre Ranch, a space that had been under state protection since September 2024, in a statement to the IACHR, considered that both the denunciations of forced recruitment, training, forced labor, and disappearance of persons, amongst other crimes, and the type of objects found reflect the degradation of violence by organized crime to a level contrary to human dignity. This is what I believe. This is what I believe. Human dignity out the window. He added it. It is alarming that places of this nature have been able to operate for prolonged periods of time without the intervention of authorities. 22 days after the discovery, the IACHR called on the Mexican state to investigate these facts with due diligence, punish those responsible, and guarantee that the victims and their families receive adequate and timely reparations. After taking note of the execution of arrest warrants against persons closely linked to the Izaguirre Ranch, the Inter-American organization added that the families have the right to know the fate or whereabouts of their loved ones, while Mexican society has the right to know the truth about what happened there. He emphasized that in situations of human rights violations committed in the context of organized crime, the appropriate penalties must be applied, and all possible direct or indirect participation of state agents must be investigated, including possible omissions. So is there somebody in the state organizations being quiet about what happens? Has the state been keeping these clandestine places quiet themselves? You know. It is also considered that for the identification of human remains found at the site, It is the duty of the Mexican state to conduct a reliable process based on science and evidence, while any return of objects found whose ownership can be attributed, and when the time comes, the restitution of human remains should be carried out with dignity while respecting the pain of the families. Regarding the discovery of clandestine graves, charred skeletal remains and household items would suggest that the ranch had been used for criminal activities as a center of recruitment, training, unaliving, and disappearances of persons. The IACHR recalled that although the search groups exercised their right to search for their relatives, this doesn't exempt the Mexican state from its duty to investigate and search in accordance with its human rights obligations. The Inter-American Organization recognized the Mexican state's announcement to provide the victims with comprehensive attention and the elaboration of a timeline that explains the time difference between the seizure of the property and the findings of the search group. They on it. They want answers. Why was this place raided and nobody found this crematorium? Why has nobody identified these remains? Why do these places exist? Why are there so many of them, and why have they been so quiet? After assessing the legislative and administrative measures to address the problem of disappearances announced on March 17th by President Claudia Sheinbaum, the IACHR noted that for 25 years it has monitored the situation of mass disappearances of persons in the country, and therefore the participation of victims and families of missing persons must be guaranteed. Calling on the authorities to publicly recognize the work of researchers, collectives as human rights defenders, and valuing their work at Rancho Izaguirre. Avoiding their re-victimization, the organization reiterated its recognition and solidarity with the valuable work of the collectives and families searching for missing persons in Mexico, which must be exercised with security and freedom guaranteed by the state. So I ain't mad at these groups that are going and find shit. I ain't mad if they telling a little white lie. Why? You got your ways of doing things, they got theirs. These people are looking for their loved ones. Too many kids disappear. Too many loved ones disappear in that country, in these states, in these cities. For everybody to say, we're always investigating and nothing ever happens.